Okay, we are go. Why, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Gary Lucas, and I'm here to play for you again. Always a pleasure. Today is New Year's Eve. It's technically 3 p.m. here in the West Village, but it's 9 p.m. in Italy, 8 p.m. in the UK, 5 a.m. down under, and like that all around the globe. And I don't know, what a hell of a year. What more can you say? I mean, the Chinese have an expression, may you live in interesting times. May you live in interesting times. Why do I always forget to speak up into this thing? Okay, let's start over again. No, you heard me, I guess. May you live in interesting times is kind of something that you wouldn't want to get in a fortune cookie. Because it's got an ironic, sardonic, cutting edge to it. Like, be careful what you wish for. Isn't that the truth? Also known as leave well enough alone, but you can't really progress. Standing still is losing, as Don Van Vliet said in a great song called Hobo Changba. So hopefully we're all moving forward at the same rate of speed now into the future. And we're going to leave this sorry ass mess of a year behind. I know that the vaccines are not getting out there as quickly as they should be. In this country, anyway. It seems the UK have us beat. Not that we're in any competition, mind you, but anyway, I'm just trying to think positive, good thoughts for everybody and everything out there, and play the guitar for you here. So let's see. Here's a very good New Year's Eve. I'm sorry for cracking up during that, but Caroline was doing her version of an end of the year dance a la Snoopy. Very cute. I'd like to get her in here. Come on. We had Lulu groomed yesterday because Caroline is in charge of the teeth brushing since she had so many of them extracted last summer. It was horrible. But now she's encrusted on both sides of her muzzle with dried toothpaste. So that necessitated an extra trip to the groomers yesterday, and she looks so cute now. But anyway, maybe she'll do a pop-in later. Yeah. I love that chord. Okay, well, that was a medley of stuff, some new stuff at the beginning there. It's a work in progress. And then a little bit of Duke Ellington's Money Jungle. 'Tis the season, is it not? How appropriate. We're all we're all going out tonight, right? No. Actually, we are going out about a half a block from here to a wonderful Egyptian restaurant called Casa La Femme, run by friends of ours who've been in the neighborhood for years and years and years. And it's pretty, I would say, it's, you know, what is 100% foolproof these days as far as sheltering in place? You are separated from, you don't even see them, fellow diners on other sides of screen in this little tent. We call it a shuk, very elegantly appointed, with heat lamps and festooned with festive things in there. Excellent shish kebab and Middle Eastern food in there. Anyway, if you're in the West Village and you're hankering for something delicious, please visit them. But normally we wouldn't be doing this. And as it is, we're doing it at 6 p.m., which is midnight in Europe, but that was the only time we could get a res today. And yeah, so I guess we're allowed to indulge some aspects of our corporeal being here, and spending money, of course, is one of them. But with the way the stimulus package went this week under our good friend Mitch, Mitch McDonald, I don't know, I would just be eating at McDonald's, basically, or getting them to deliver, but yet, always. So anyway, well, I was going to recommend a few things here. I have to get together a list of my 10 favorite books I read this year, maybe. I will do that, work that out. Everybody's coming out with lists. I got lists. All right. Let's see what I got over here. Okay. One of the best books that I did read this summer, is Selected Stories of Charles Beaumont, who, if you are a Roger Corman, American International's picture fan, you will recognize as he scripted a couple of the best Edgar Allan Poe opuses of Roger Corman, Premature Burial, for instance. And he was an elegant short fiction writer. So this is Perchance to Dream, Selected Stories of Charles Beaumont with a beautiful cover. And what can I say? You can't go wrong if you like weird fiction. His life is really tragic if you look into it, because he had a progressive degenerative disease which really just ruined his career very early on after beginning to flourish in Hollywood, and people, you know, were shocked at the change in his appearance, among other things. But anyway, I don't want to dwell on that. Now, I've mentioned Curzio Malaparte. My friend Verdiana Garau has touted me on this book, The Skin, which is, I think, the only book of his in English, translated in English, I haven't read yet, so I'm up to about page 50. And it's great, as always. Any of his books, I think, are worth reading. Especially, I mean, my favorite so far is Kaput, which is memoirs of a period spent behind enemy lines in Nazi-occupied Norway, primarily, and Scandinavia, by Malaparte. Really good. I was touting this also to my sister Lori, who's a voracious reader, as am I. So check out his work. And then I just got this in Wild Minds, okay? It was praised by Adam Gopnik in the New Yorker, the artist and rivalries that inspired the golden age of animation. Now, if you know my Fleischerei project, which was a tribute to the music of the great Fleischer brothers, especially the music in the Popeye and Betty Boop cartoons. You'll know I'm a buff, a big animation buff, particularly early animation. I would say my aesthetic overall is more, I'm a classically, or a classicist as opposed to someone seeking the latest thrill to emanate from the creative gene pool. Currently, no, I really like to re-examine epics from the past. And anyway, I've always been a fan of the Fleischer Brothers since I first saw Betty Boop and Popeye cartoons as a wee child. So this goes into depth about their rivalry with Walt Disney and the machinations by which they contrived to move their operation out of New York because of being picketed by an animators union that sort of grew out of the Teamsters union they affiliated with it. And so they went to Florida. They kind of washed up down there, but they borrowed a lot of money to start an animation hub. And sadly, they started fighting, the two brothers, Dave and Max Fleischer, and they weren't speaking to each other. And Paramount Pictures, who had lent them the money, decided to call in their markers on that deal very early on. And that was the end of their operation, which is a tragedy. But their work lives on. So, but this book also goes, into depth on people like Winsor McKay, who did Gertie the Dinosaur, one of the first animation efforts. And I don't know, I'm really looking forward to reading it, but I haven't started it yet. But it comes highly recommended. And what else? Well, oh yeah. I'm going to relentlessly plug this now until release dates, but this is coming out, The Essential Gary Lucas, in this beautiful package, vis-a-vis Knitting Factory label. It's out January 29th, and you can pre-order it now, and I'll provide the link, or I have already. And tomorrow I'm going to put another clip that was done for a track of mine off of this record by my friend Paul Ryan down in, I think he's based in Melbourne. And I'm sorry, Paul, if I got this wrong. But he's one of my down under peeps. And he's been tirelessly making promos like the one today, as has Dave Pearson. I want to really thank both these guys. It's so appreciated. I have no wherewithal to do this. I'm not skilled in that way. I have very limited skill sets, you see. I can play the guitar, I guess, but and write a bit. But I'm no... But polymath, although there's a very good discussion of the virtues and foibles of being a polymath in the Times Literary Supplement last week. And anyway, I digress. So let's switch over to electric guitar. sorts of things to say about that, but that is my arrangement of a great song by the American punk duo, I guess you could say punk, Suicide. Alan Vega and Martin Rev. And Alan was a friend of mine. Alan I met at Berlin Independence Days in 1989, I believe, maybe 90, which was a festival of independent music in various clubs around Berlin. A beautiful event. I remember pulling in there at about 6 in the morning and being taken to my hotel, which wasn't that far from the venue. And I was checking into my room, and just as I was checking in, the door to the room next to me opened up, and out walked Courtney Love in a very filmy negligee. So I kind of smiled at her, and there were ships passing in the night. Also, at the event was Alan Vega, who came up to me after my concert there at the Loft and said, "I think you did that better than Suicide." Now, it was nice of him to say. I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but he was a great guy. He was a gentleman. I loved Alan. And if you get this album, The Essential Gary Lucas, there is a very rare track that we did thanks to my friend Howard Thompson, who's a legendary A&R guy I knew at Columbia Records years ago, who signed all sorts of interesting music. And he was friends with Alan. He brought, actually, Alan to Elektra Records. He moved over there, and he did a solo album over there. Anyway, Howard put us together, and we did this track, which is called Life Kills, which Alan performed with me at my 20th anniversary Gods and Monsters show at the Gramercy Theater here in New York City. I think there's a clip of that on YouTube if you search for it. Anyway, this is on The Essential Gary Lucas, as is so much more. And whoops, I think it's almost time to go. Now, yeah. So, we have to get ready for the festivities, such as they are. And, hold on. So, thank you, everybody, for being with me this year, most of it. At least I got going in the middle of March. And I am determined to keep going. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always a pleasure to have you over. Caroline says hi. She's giving the wave. Okay. And Lulu says hi. We love you guys. Wear that mask. See you soon.